Hello, my name is Luke Polkinghorne, and I'm about to give a brief overview of what I've learned throughout the course of this course on personal and social ethics. Uh, I'll speak briefly about the ethical systems that I'm currently trying to implement into my own personal life, uh, and we'll get into it. First off, I'd like to speak about the natural law. Proverbs 8, verses 32 through 36 sums this up nicely. Now then, my sons, listen to me. Blessed are those who keep my ways. Listen to my instruction and be wise. Do not ignore it. Blessed is the man who listens to me, watching daily at the doors, waiting at my doorway. For whoever finds me finds life and receives favor from the Lord. But whoever fails to find me harms himself. All who hate me love death. Pretty powerful. But I believe that, and this comes directly from the book, from the reading, is the concept of wisdom then suggests that God has revealed objective moral values outside of Scripture or natural law. God instilled this saying that God instilled into each one of us that uh, no matter what your race, no matter what your religion, um, you have an inherent um, that things are inherently right or wrong, such as murder, rape, no matter where you come from. So God kind of planted the seed into everyone, no matter where you came from. Um, I kind of see natural law as the good and the evil, little winged people that are always jabbering into your ears, and the natural law is the good side. That's God's like little moral voice coming through. Whether or not you listen to him is completely up to you. Whether you do what you want to do. That's one of the great things about Christianity. Um, the Deontological ethics. Um, this one was based strictly on Scripture. However, uh, deontological ethics does not necessarily have to be based on Scripture or even religion, as Immanuel Kant um, created his own ethical code that's described as deontological in theory, but it does not emphasize. There's no scripture, there's no religion, there's just his ideas, which I think is kind of that's kind of a dangerous pathway to follow as a Christian because a man created that. Um, Scripture is pretty, you know, Scripture has been tested, has been proven right over and over and over again. Uh, Science, many people would argue with that, but Scripture has been tested and has passed the test many times. And so, I this ethical code to me is kind of not really easy, but it tells you the right and the wrong actions, cut and dry, and it's based on actions. That's the important part of that. Um, the next theory I'd like to talk about is the virtue theory, and this holds that morality is simply more than doing the right thing. Okay, um, the virtue theorist emphasizes the person or the moral agent. So the person who has a strong character moral, virtue theory. Uh, the person, the person. That's where the ethics come from. It's not from any kind of outside stimuli. However, the book also did say that you need to have a strong role model. Virtue theorists say that you can't have a good virtue theorist, strong character if you don't have a strong role model to base your ethical considerations on. So I say combining the two is the way I'm going to try to live my life moving forward due to this class. Um, I believe that an ethical system based on the technological belief system and also the virtue system combined is the best route to take to form your own ethical standard. Um, such strong role models such as your pops, my pops, for example. He's a strong Christian, so he would give me the Christian outlook, and he's a through living a Christian scripture based life. He has become a strong moral character to live and to emulate. So combining those two structures, those two codes, that's the route that I'm gonna try to model and try to move forward with. Now, moving on to the issues here. Um, I felt that it was necessary to speak to what kind of ethical system I'm trying to incorporate into my being because uh, I will admit that I'm not a strong Christian due to my war experience where I lost my faith. But I'm coming around. Uh, but just as the nature of the relationship with Christ, such as written by C.S. Lewis in his book, The Dance with Christ Begins. And probably never ended, but it begins. Some of the issues that I struggled with as I read the book, read the comments and the discussions, the questions posed by the professor, some of the issues that I struggled with, I'm going to talk about now. Reproductive technologies. This ethical issue was initially pretty black and white to me. Um, But as I read the text I thought did a great job of not really kind of emphasizing the Christian view, but giving you the whole view, and then you could take it however you wanted to take it, which I thought was great. It wasn't written to kind of mold you to try and take you over to the Christian way, which is the best way, but that it was written as like here's all your options. Choose which one. You know, uh, you know, pretty black and white. But as I read the discussions, as I read the book, I started to question myself a little bit. But the biblical backing, Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5 states, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." Um, I felt as though the other reproductive technologies took God out of the baby making process. So now we have babies being born that are not influenced by God's hand. And fundamentally, I feel that that is completely wrong because more and more often I'm seeing that because we can do this, we don't need God. God is being taken out of the picture more and more often, and I feel that right from the start, taking God away from um, a human being born is fundamentally wrong. Okay, my next issue that I struggled with was the Human Genome Project. Um, Although I wrote my journal on agreeing 100% with the decision to test for genetic abnormalities as an adult if they run in your family, what I struggled with ethically is what to do if a cure becomes available by using stem cell research for it's called ataxia. So I have this doctor come approach me and he says, Luke, I can fix your ataxia by harvesting some stem cell research, and I can make you a healthy human being. You know, I feel that God formed me, and He formed me with this genetic abnormality as we feel it is, but it may not be a genetic abnormality to Christ. Christ formed me for a reason. I feel that, if propositioned with a cure to ataxia, I don't think that I would take it. Just because of God created me for a purpose, for a reason, and I feel like that would be trying to take some of that away from Him. The next issue that I struggled with was physician-assisted suicide and euthanasia. Um, and the reason I struggled with this was the book talked about the law of double effect, and how much the word intent, um, how much the word intent, how much weight is given to that word. So hypothetically, a doctor could knowingly give a patient a high dose of morphine, knowing that he's going to kill this patient, but as he's charting in his paperwork, he says, the patient says that he's having more pain, so I prescribed a higher pain level, and it killed him. And that is legal. To me, that's just like a line, like I wrote there, a line that's scribbled in mud there. It's just a curvy line, doesn't make any sense. To me, that law that's physician-assisted suicide. I don't see how that can be seen as anything but that. Um, my fictional case study that I chose to write about. Okay, so an 18-year-old woman that was involved in a car crash and is now in a vegetative permanent state. The young woman has no advance directive or family. This ethical situation involves whether or not to pull the feeding tube to end her life. In the eyes of the law, this is an ethical way of ending a life. In my own eyes, my views of this daunting ethical dilemmas are not set in stone. I flip-flopped. I changed my point of view. Um, Quote, this is a biblical principle that cannot and must not be ignored, especially in light of the present controversy. Is the person who is ill still alive? Yes. Is the soul present? Again, according to the Bible, the answer is clearly yes. God's command, thou shalt not kill, Exodus 20, verse 13, Mark chapter 10, verse 19, never has been rescinded. That was from a internet source that I found titled A Christian Response to End of Life Decisions. Um, I hadn't thought of the body and the soul being connected, even though you're in a vegetative state and you're not thinking, you're still alive. That person is still alive, and their soul still dwells within them. So, okay. The ethical dilemma I am undecided on. The morality of war, that the last homework assignment that we had, I did not do my homework for this section because I feel if I would have had someone if someone asked me those questions prior to me enlisting in the military, I I would not have gone to war. Um, I feel the Iraqi war effort did not meet some of the just war qualifications, and I feel ashamed to have been involved in conflict for unjust reasons. That homework assignment really shook me to my core. I didn't feel very good about myself, and I need to I need to talk to my dad. You know, my virtue role model to talk about whether or not that war is just or unjust. That is the end of my speech. I hope you all have enjoyed it. What I have found throughout this course is that this course provided more questions and answers. I have more as I watch regular news. I'm listening to that person speak, and I'm like, well, what are they basing their decision on? What moral and ethical system are they basing their decision on? And I'm trying, I find myself dissecting people's views more and more and asking more questions about how they came to that conclusion. And I think that's an awesome thing. I feel this is a very good course. I'm sorry for not doing my homework on that last part, but I really just did not feel good about myself. But thank you for listening. Have a good day.